The boy with no name.
You're a boy with no name?
See.
What happened to it?
With the horse with no name. Oh, Marshall, you always do this. You record the thing.
It's a mic
you
check.
Think it's going to be a fun intro into
It's
the
a mic
show
check.
when I'm not paying attention. Bull crap.
It's a mic check.
You're going to put.
Welcome everyone to Cinema Lounge Presents, the official second same podcast, different version. It's a different time. It was a different time, Ben. Welcome. We're talking about the Guardians of the Galaxy 3 today. Volume 3, directed by James Gunn, written by James Gunn, starring, oh boy,
James Gunn.
all those different, yes, Sean Gunn. All those different people, and we're going to talk about it. We got thoughts about it, certainly. We'll probably touch on the other two as well, and we'll probably, I definitely have some thoughts about the future of DC based on this movie. So,
wow.
Let's get into it. We got 30 to 45
Not
minutes.
what you might expect.
Not what you might expect. I just had a lot of chicken al pastor. Let's do the show.
So you sound like a chicken. Al Pastor. All right. Hey, Marshall.
Hey, Ben, what's up?
Hey, not much. Just thinking a lot about the Guardians of the Galaxy 3, the first Marvel movie I've watched in years.
Have you not seen any of the other latest ones? Did you see No Way Home?
Yes, I did watch No Way Home.
Shang-Chi?
Yes, I saw Shang-Chi. Okay, that's like 3 years
Eternals?
ago at this point, dude. No, I didn't see Eternals.
Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania?
Nope.
I think that's on Disney now.
Yeah, and Doctor Strange is a no-go. The new Black Panther I haven't seen.
I like Doctor Strange a lot, despite what people have said.
Wow, okay.
I think there's
Just kind
some
of
really,
avoided it.
really good stuff in that movie and some awful stuff in that movie. But the really good stuff outweighs it.
So yeah, this got me back into theaters, so that's exciting.
It did.
Which I think actually is maybe true for a lot of. I don't know.
Marvel
I'm curious
people.
of the fringe Marvel people if this got them back into the theater to see it or not.
I think it probably did. I think if any of these movies were going to be vastly successful, it was going to be this one, just because of the way that these movies have always kind of stood aside from the other ones. Like the other movies were very, excuse me, we're all on Earth and we're all doing Avenger things, and I want to be an Avenger, and you think someday I'm not one of those Avengers, or like it's all so Avenger centric.
Yeah.
And then the first Guardians movie comes out, and it's like nothing to do with that.
Yeah, wow.
Except that Thanos is in it. But at that point, the only Thanos appearance before that had been in the post-credit sequence of the first Avengers movie. So a lot of people probably didn't even think about it.
Yeah.
But
Wow, that's a good memory for me. I'm junior in high school when the first Guardians
2014,
came
I
out.
think.
Yeah, yep, junior in high school. I just remember that out of all of the movies coming out, it was maybe my first memory of I haven't heard of that superhero before.
yeah,
Or like all my friends are going to see this, telling me I need to go see it. But at this point, I wonder, was it the first time that there was like a lesser known IP that got used for a film? I mean, before that we've got Iron Man, we've got Hulk, we've got
for
plus,
Marvel.
on either side, honestly.
I mean, there's been Swamp Thing projects with DC. DC has done a lot of stuff. Like they sold off the rights to a bunch of random characters at different points, I think.
Yeah, but before 2014.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Like, I mean, there were multiple Punisher movies. If we're talking Marvel,
Sure.
There were multiple Punisher movies. There was the Daredevil movie, which he was kind of a nobody at the time. There was an Elektra movie that spun out of that.
Yeah.
DC had some other stuff too. What was that? There was Swamp Thing. They just had there was the Constantine movie. Most people probably don't even know that that's a DC character. John Constantine, starring Keanu Reeves. That's from DC Comics.
Wow, did not know that.
Yeah.
Don't really know anything about the movie.
Well,
nor the comic.
Good movie, underrated.
But anyway, I feel like that first one came out and it was a big deal.
It
And
was.
So, and that's where we made the connection in the conversation here that this has been the IP, the part of the series, the extended universe that has felt a little outside of the story of everybody else.
Yeah.
And then when they show up in
Infinity War.
Yeah, when they show up, it's like that was like kind of a big deal.
It was really
when
cool.
they came to Earth. Yeah,
especially if they're mixing. Well, they didn't come to Earth. That's
Where
an important
did they
point. Actually, they did briefly come to Earth, I guess, at the very end for Tony's funeral. But otherwise, they met on the moon of Titan or something. Because it was like, that was my planet, and it freaking exploded. Thanos is like, no, they're on what used to, because he's like, let me guess, you're home? And then that was a meme for forever.
I don't even remember that.
The Doctor Strange. Oh, we'll have to look those up.
Oh, wait. Oh, yeah. And that's when they're going to the first time when the snap happens?
Yeah.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
Rip.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this got me back in theaters. I wonder who else it did that for.
Maybe we want to go see a bunch of other stuff. You want to hear the vitals here?
The vital signs?
Yep.
Sure.
Directed, James Gunn.
Oh, yeah.
Written, James Gunn. Starring Chris Pratt, Bradley Cooper, Dave Bautista, Vin Diesel, sort of. Maria Bakalova from Borat as Cosmo. Borat 2, that is. She plays Borat's daughter. Chukwudi Iwuji is the High Evolutionary. He's been in a lot of stuff. Most recently, he was in Peacemaker, another James Gunn thing. Palm Clementif is Mantis again. Karen Gillan is back. Austin Freeman, I guess, played the stand-in for Groot. And Sean Gunn is Kraglin. I think those are the main people. Oh, Will Poulter is in this one as Adam Warlock.
Yeah, that was fun, I think.
He was pretty good, but also, like, not really
He was
Adam
kind
Warlock.
of just like himself. I feel like I think he has, like, one confused adolescent role.
Spoiled boy.
And yeah. Have you seen We're the Millers?
I haven't, but I've seen plenty of clips and stuff.
Okay.
You guys are getting paid or whatever? Yeah.
It feels kind of similar.
Yeah. What else is there? Script score,
Is there
cinematography.
going to be like a Warlock offshoot?
Oh, I hope not. It looks like he's in the new Guardians.
Oh, cool.
Or, like, the new team.
Oh, interesting.
I guess we don't want to do spoilers yet. Hold on.
Oh, shoot.
But looks like that's weird. Anything could happen with him. Looks like anything could go on.
Oh my gosh, freaking spoilers. Whatever. Okay,
the music is by John Murphy. The cinematography is Henry Braham. And yeah, that's all the stuff. Ben,
yes.
What do you think of the movie?
I think,
without spoiling it,
that I am glad that they felt comfortable. God, I'm dropping my laptop.
Dropping his laptop.
It's
he was
because I
so
picked
upset
up
that he
this
dented it
small
earlier.
screw. No, I'm so I'm excited that they allowed Chris Pratt to let go of his body a little bit and be a normal human being. He just is. He's just got more of the dad bod now, and I appreciate that about it. I mean, like, all of his like costuming is normal. Like,
yeah, there wasn't some kind of like obligatory shirtless scene.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Exactly. Okay. So the first Guardians comes out, and everyone is freaking out on the social media because of Chris Pratt's body transformation, which really turned into a weird. It was a weird deal. It was like kind of cool at first, and you think like, oh, that's kind of nice, and then it turned into a real like. Body shaming thing, like
it happened even more intensely with Kumail Nanjiani in Eternals because he got crazy. He got more ripped than Pratt did.
Yeah,
and he like never posted about it a single time until he finally did, right before the movie and everything. And it was just like hate. It's like, just let the man live.
Yeah.
But what you got out of this movie is also objectifying him for his body.
I'm just glad they're objectifying him less.
Okay.
It's just like letting him live his life, you know?
That's good. There is a little bit of body horror in this movie.
Dude, there's some freaky stuff. You want to tell? Is that a spoiler?
I don't think so. So, I mean, the basic plot of the movie, let's read the IMDb thing here and see if it makes any sense.
Still reeling from the loss of Gamora, Peter Quill rallies his team to defend the universe and one of their own. A mission that could mean the end of the Guardians if not successful.
Yeah, so that is the non-spoiler version.
Yeah.
What we'll give you that will actually explain what happens here is that they have been, if you didn't watch the Christmas special, they've been, first of all, Mantis is Peter's sister, technically, because she's also a spawn of Ego, which they just kind of gloss over and mention once in this, and that was brought up a lot more in the holiday special, and it's not really important, but they mention it once in this movie, which makes it probably weird for people who didn't watch the holiday special.
Me.
Yes. But it also is like never important for the rest of the movie, except that I guess she feels burdened to try to help him out from being sad about Gamora.
Mm-hmm.
But the main thing in this is that Will Poulter plays Adam Warlock, who we get the teaser of in Guardians 2, and he's being sent by the gold people that they wronged in Guardians 2 to take them down. And in the process, mortally wounds Rocket. And then the rest of the movie is pretty much about them trying to figure out how do we save Rocket. Because they try to use their regular med packs, which are like these magic medical belts or something. But for some reason, it like puts him into cardiac arrest or a coma or something.
Yeah.
So they have to figure out like, what do we do? How do we fix this? Where do we go? And that's what the movie's all about. It's really a Rocket Raccoon movie. It's very much him and his journey. And that's even a line at one point in the movie.
Well, especially because big bad guy in this one is the High Evolutionary, who was the person who
created Rocket.
Yeah.
Which isn't a spoiler. Like, they put that right out there. And I think that if we're talking, like, cast and performances, dude, let me just look at Real again. Chukwudi Iwuji. Dude was amazing.
Yeah.
I thought he was so good as the High Evolutionary. I think he's one of the best villains that Marvel has had in a super long time. And all of the flashbacks that you get with Rocket throughout the movie, as he's in his coma, they do this flashbacking stuff, and you see his origin story and stuff.
Yes. There's two scenes, two worlds. Like, Rocket coma,
and then
reliving his life. And then,
And, like, you see a lot of backstory of High Evolutionary, and they kind of build him up to be maybe a little bit sympathetic, but then they show you the darker side and the lighter side of him in a way that is like genuinely compelling.
Yeah.
Like he's sympathetic in the way that Thanos was to me, which is not something that I think Marvel has had with any of their other villains.
Yeah. Well, it's also person driven by an ideal, driven by, like, really believes in the cause they're working for, and then takes it too far. Which I think it feels a little bit. First Black Panther felt that way too. This was less compelling than that, but in a similar way of,
I don't know,
you're using different means.
I don't love Killmonger as much as a lot of other people do. I think I like the High Evolutionary more, but I definitely see what you're saying.
Interesting. Yeah. Also, let's just throw this out there that he's giving one of the best acting performances of the movie, and he's acting on nothing.
Yes.
Right? Like, he's acting with a fake raccoon.
Yes.
Like, sometimes there's people in the scene, but...
Well, because for so much of the movies before this, Sean Gunn who plays Kraglin, has always been the on-set double for Rocket. He's always there crouching, like waddling around as Rocket on set.
I did not know that.
Yeah, so you'll see all these pictures, and he's in a mocap suit, or just like it's not a mocap suit. They're just erasing him and putting someone else in. He's waddling around.
I have seen those memes.
Yeah.
Okay, yes. Okay.
So what I'm wondering is if he was in those scenes, or like if... Because someone was acting to that.
Right.
And he actually did do the voice of Baby Rocket. And then it turns into Bradley Cooper later.
I was wondering how they were handling that, or what they were doing with that.
Like, are they just de-aging his voice or something?
Yeah, I didn't know. There's also, like, just multiple lines where it just didn't sound like,
Which made sense to me, because you're getting the literal evolution of Rocket as he's, like, being tinkered on and everything.
Yeah.
Just, again, horrifying. The body. There's, like, legitimate, like, body horror and, like, gross stuff in this, like, that's really
also,
like, it really pushes PG-13.
All the mutations are kind of freaky, kind of weird. Especially the ones that are, like, very humanoid get weird. Speaking of it being 13, I did pull up the parents guide. Here's the parents guide. PG-13. If you're gonna be watching this on Disney Plus one day, watch out. Here we go. Sex and nudity. There's 4 references of sex and nudity. 6 of violence and gore. 2 instances of profanity. 3 references to alcohol, drugs, and smoking. 7 frightening and intense scenes. And spoilers? What? Why is that on the list? That's weird.
Because if there's some things that they'll hide, like if you're looking at profanity or something, and there's something that happens that's critical to the plot, they'll put that under spoilers. So you know there's something else there, but if you don't want to be spoiled, you don't click on it.
Weird. Oh, I see. Okay, so the only thing that is marked as severe is the frightening and intense scenes, but
which
profanity, they say God, piss. I can't say
the first F-bomb.
I can't say these things.
The first Marvel F-bomb
is in this movie?
Yes.
What?
Get the F in the car.
Oh yeah, one brief use of the F-bomb. Brief use.
He didn't draw it out.
Yeah. They say ass 5 times.
Really?
Yeah.
We can beat that.
6
Ass.
That's 2. Come on.
That's
Ass.
3. There you go.
It feels good to say it.
I don't like this anymore. I don't like this anymore. How many was it?
Welcome to the PG-13.
Wait, how many was it?
Oh shoot! I think that was 4.
No, we said 5 already.
Oh, we need to beat 5.
Okay, ass. There we go.
Yes!
That's 6. We beat the record.
That's it.
Okay, move to the next segment.
Okay,
I don't
all
like
right.
that anymore.
Marshall,
What?
I have a horrible thing. What time are we at right now?
I don't know. Who cares?
I do.
15.
I have a horrible thing to tell you about, and maybe it'll help
You
the
didn't watch the
listeners.
movie?
And then no, I did. Well, that's actually connected to what I'm gonna say.
Okay.
So after this point, well, I'm gonna tell you this thing, and then you decide where we start spoilers. Okay.
Great.
So I got tickets to go see this movie after school. At 3:25 showing.
Oh, I have a story about when I saw it too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. And so, but anyway, I got hung up at school and missed the first 25 minutes of the movie.
What?
So I didn't see the first 25 minutes of the movie, but
What happened the first 25
I
minutes?
was gonna say, do you want to fill me and the listeners in, and
Oh
then,
my
and then
gosh.
stop the spoilers after that, or what?
Yeah.
But I mean, it was a long movie.
Will you write down, explain the first 25? Well,
Yeah.
the first 25 minutes.
It's a long movie.
I basically just explained the first 25 minutes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's what I thought.
Is that they're on, they've been fixing up, because you didn't watch the holiday special,
Yeah.
they've been fixing up Nowhere, the dead celestial head, and they've basically set up headquarters there.
Yeah.
And Peter is super sad and getting drunk all the time, and everyone's
Because
kind of
Gamora's
trying to...
dead.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're trying to do their part, everyone is. Nebula is kind of the de facto leader by virtue of
She's
Peter's out
functioning.
of capacity to do anything, and it's basically her and Rocket who are in charge of things. Will Poulter shows up out of nowhere, starts blasting. Everyone does everything they can to try to stop him. It gets intense. Like, he bends people's limbs backwards. Nebula multiple times, the way that she resets herself in the movie. The first time that happens is in that first however long, and you're like, whoa!
Oh, okay.
Because it's horrifying. Oh, I think that he breaks Mantis's arm backwards or something.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's super intense.
Oh, gosh.
Holy cow. And he lasers Rocket, and that's when everything gets crazy.
Got it.
And I think, Nebula stabs him through the back with her cool nanotech arm.
Yeah.
And then he escapes or something, and then that's when they're like, okay, we have to go to that one place. When did you pick up?
Yeah, it's probably right after that.
Okay, because they're going to the organic planet.
Nope.
With Nathan Fillion.
Nope. The organic planet.
Are you kidding me?
What's the organic planet?
Are you serious?
Well, I didn't see this part. I told you I missed the first bit.
They-
This was a very honest moment for
They're
me.
wearing
Feeling very
brightly
vulnerable.
colored suits.
Oh no! I see that screen grab on IMDb, and I missed that part. Yep. Was it cool?
Yes.
Whoops.
You missed the entire sequence of them at that place.
Yep. Is there a cool song in the background? It must be because it's James Gunn.
Probably. I don't remember what it was.
This part
That's
here.
one of my critiques. Yeah. That's
Missed that scene.
One of my critiques is that I feel like the soundtrack I really liked the soundtrack, and I think that Creep, the acoustic version of Creep as the opener, worked really well, and it really set the tone for the way the movie was going to be.
Yeah.
But I feel like on the whole, the soundtrack didn't interweave with the movie as well or as much at all as the previous two, especially as much as the first one. It's been diminishing returns since then.
Yeah.
Where the first one, it was much more jukebox, it's happening in the movie.
Yes.
As opposed to I think diegetic is when it's coming from outside the scene.
Pretty much this time, every single time it was one of those moments was oh, what are we listening to on the MP3 player?
Yeah.
Click. Yeah.
Well, I like that, but
Yeah.
what seemed to happen most of the time is that it's happening for about 5 seconds and then we're just in a scene. As opposed to I'm not in love. That whole scene in the first Guardians where Peter and Gamora dance.
Yeah.
That's part of the scene, and
Right.
it works really well. The same thing with I Can't Stop the Feeling is a whole part of that opening sequence because he's listening to it and everything. And
Oh, you mean Hooked on a Feeling?
You're
thinking of the
that feeling anymore. Yes.
You're thinking of the hit single from Trolls.
Can't stop the feeling. I hate that. I hate that so much.
Yeah, me too.
But yeah, I mean, Hooked on a Feeling.
Yeah.
Which is nice. We won't talk about that. But it's not a spoiler. It's just in the movie.
God, Marshall.
It's not in the movie.
Ugh.
It's not in the movie. But yeah, my experience of going to the movie was that I'm introducing our friend Donovan. Do you know Dono?
Yeah.
Yeah. We're introducing him to Star Wars. He's never seen any Star Wars.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say anything about it because, when I say that he knows nothing about Star Wars, I mean he knows nothing about Star Wars.
Okay.
And there are things in Star Wars that are so part of our pop culture. Like the line that you're thinking of in your head that is like just referenced a million times. It's in everything and everywhere. He does not know that. Like that is insane to me. I don't understand how you can be alive and not people who have not seen Star Wars still know about the big twist that happens in the original trilogy and everything like that.
Yeah, that part where Yoda is Obi-Wan's dad.
Yes. It's crazy. And he has no idea. And it's insane to me.
Yeah.
Watching this movie with him, me and Isaiah watched A New Hope together, and it's wild watching someone watch Star Wars for the first time because that's not an experience I've ever had. Because I've just, in my mind, it's always been there. So watching him put all this together for the first time, like the stormtroopers break into the Tantive 4 and he's like, so those are the bad guys. And then Darth Vader comes in and goes, oh, that must be the head honcho, huh? I'm like, yeah, man, it is. And it's like, it's crazy.
Yeah, that's fun. Huh.
The reason to connect all of that, the reason that I saw the movie when I did is because me and Dono were going to go and watch Empire at that Saturday when I saw it that night. So I got tickets for Guardians of the Galaxy at East Park at 12 p.m. on Saturday. Not a time that you would typically go to a movie.
No.
So Donovan at some point realizes that he can't do the thing. So now I'm just going to Guardians at 12 p.m. for no reason.
Sweet.
And I get there and it's like multiple families and I immediately just want to die.
This is like opening night?
No, Saturday in the middle of the day.
Oh,
12 p.m.
Thank you. AM was also confusing to me.
It was lunchtime.
12 p.m.
Ben.
is confusing. Yeah, that's weird.
Yes.
Yeah, that's strange. There's children.
It was. I'm
At
never
a
going to do it again.
PG-13 movie. Are you kidding me? They used the
They said
ass
the F word. No, now it's 7.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. But I was texting Laura and I was like, this is the worst. But then they did quiet down for like 90% of the movie. But what was weirder is that like the air conditioner kicked on and it was so loud.
In the film?
Yes.
Weird.
It would kick on every once in a while. And
That's
it would
bizarre.
Be like, it was super weird.
That
it was
shouldn't happen.
kind of warm outside. We're in that season where it's like they have it to be the HC to be so reactive that if it gets slightly warm, they just turn on like crazy.
That shouldn't happen in the movie.
It shouldn't happen.
It's weird. Anyway.
Script, score, cinematography. Cinematography is really good. I thought this movie looked as good, if not better, than the last ones.
Yep.
Script, I thought it was very well written. It was a little goofy, like schmaltzy at times. There was only one scene that kind of didn't work for me.
Like lovey-dovey schmaltzy? You mean like there's too much buddy, the whole gang kind of situation?
Only in
Let's go to spoilers! Before
that's
we go
why
to
I'm trying to run through the categories.
Oh, okay.
So we can go general and then go specific.
Oh, okay. So script we said was good.
Yeah.
Score.
Script, score.
The
score was also good. I wish that they would have used more of Tyler Bates' original theme. It only comes in a couple times.
Yeah.
And every time it does, I'm like, this is sweet.
I know.
Yeah,
Me too.
Like, it's a great theme song.
Yeah.
And it works so well, like thinking about all the moments that when it swells up, like in the first one, when he says, we're the Guardians of the Galaxy, or something like that, when they're all holding hands with the Power Stone. Yeah. It's so cool. And they just only used it a couple times in this one.
They almost tried to like weave it in.
Yeah.
And out. Yeah.
Which it wasn't as much about the Guardians as a group, the movie in general, I guess, as much as it was about them on their individual journeys and if they're going to stay together as a group and what is the future of the group. Yeah. Script, score, cinematography, directing. James Gunn is fantastic. James Gunn is 10 out of 10. performances, everyone's really good in this.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a single bad performance in this movie. Like, everyone does exactly what they need to do for as long as they need to do it, and then they get out. I was a little worried about Dave Bautista as Drax because he started out as a really compelling character and then kind of became an oaf, and I think that they did him right in this movie.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah, I think they even gave him, it seemed like more... The way it felt is that you could kind of see some more of his acting chops, like even just like within the way he was allowed to like use the character, or you know, like I know it was like partially written that way, but also I think I think you can see his growth as an actor across the 3 films.
Because he's been doing other stuff between all these movies,
right? I
mean, the thing that he's done that was most notable probably is the second Daniel thing.
Craig.
Yes.
Day-Lewis.
Glass Onion.
Oh yeah. He
had little glasses in Blade Runner 2049.
That's right.
And then he was in Glass Onion. He's also done other stuff, but he was great, like as an actual actor. In Glass Onion.
Yeah.
Everyone is really good in this. I love everyone in this movie.
Cool.
Then what else? Script, score, cinematography, performances, visual effects. Dude. The VFX in this movie were perfect.
Yeah.
There was not a single, and this is, I have a whole thing, I've got beef about this now. Because the entire movie, there was not a single shot at any point that I thought, that looks fake. That looks like it's on the volume. That looks like it's on a green screen. That looks entirely CG. Never.
Yeah, huh.
Even when it is 4 little animal people who have been mutilated, I'm not thinking, this is fake. I believe it.
Yeah.
And for the story of this movie, that's so vital. Because so much of it is about Rocket. And if it's not perfect, it doesn't work. And Bradley Cooper, of course, also gets so much credit for his performance. But if you don't have the incredible work of the visual effects artists, and there was a ton of companies that worked on this movie, then it doesn't work.
Yeah.
And I think it's crazy looking at the difference between this and Ant-Man.
Oh, interesting.
Because
I didn't see it.
You watch Ant-Man, and there's not a single shot in that movie that looks real. It continually looks like it's on the volume. Same thing with Thor. It continually looks like it's on the volume. The entire time you're thinking, this looks fake. I know that they shot this in Norway. I've seen set photos. So why does it look like they've replaced everything except for the actors? Like, Marvel is known in the industry now for just not locking in their visual effects or their third act because they don't finish these things, and they're continually rewriting and changing and changing and changing and changing, and they'll force these companies to redo the visual effects a million times over, which is how you lead to movies like Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, which, just like Ant-Man 1, was rife with production issues. Way more production issues, in fact, like so many rewrites and changes and reshoots and stuff like that. It makes sense that that movie would have horrible VFX because it's getting sent back to the printer 1,000 times, as opposed to a movie like this, which is written and directed by James Gunn. He doesn't start casting movies until he's locked a script. Like, he finishes his script and that's it. The same thing, you look at Multiverse of Madness. Say what you will about that movie, there's a few wonky shots, but the vast majority of it looks really cool and looks really good. And it's directed by Sam Raimi. Sam Raimi is another very visually creative director, and this guy knows what he wants. So I think it's fascinating and so obvious, thinking back on it, why this is the case. That if you get a creative who knows what he wants and has that set in stone and says, this is the movie, you're giving the people who are making this stuff plenty of time to make the stuff. The VFX ILM doesn't want to make a thing that looks like crap.
Right.
Everyone is doing the best job that they can. It just, if I don't have enough time to draw a picture of Batman, it's going to be a bad picture of Batman.
Yeah.
If you give me 5 minutes, it'll be okay. If you give me several hours, it'll be great. I can make an awesome picture of Batman in that time.
Yeah.
And it just
keep sending it back.
Yeah. But it just drives me nuts. And
speaking of ILM and VFX, just to throw this in because I've been thinking about it, the sound design is also really good in this movie. There's a really good movie very good video where Adam Savage goes into the sound design and talks with sound designers at ILM.
Yes, and they go through all like the Star Wars noises and
so they go through
Thor's hammer.
They go through folders of all the assets. They're like, this is you cannot use this for anything else. We designed this for Thor.
Yes,
you cannot use it on other movies. Or
this is the trademarked sound of Mjolnir.
Yeah,
and you have to license it out.
That video is awesome, and I was just really aware of it this time around. That like when this blaster turns on, it just sounds so right.
Yes.
Like it's like that one's staticky. Oh yeah, like that gives me a feel for what it's going to shoot like.
Yes.
And I'm just hearing it.
Sound design is incredible.
Yeah, anyway. Yeah, so
highly suggest that video.
About. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Ian was just telling me, he listened, I guess, to the Batman episode recently.
Cool.
Because he messaged in the Discord that he watched the Thomas Flight video that I talked about, where he talks about the sound design in that movie. That I thought it got taken down initially. He must have gotten it back up or re-uploaded it or something.
Sweet.
But it gets into that same world of sound design. It's just incredible.
Yeah.
Highly suggest that.
Sweet.
Should we talk spoilers?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
Yeah.
We're talking about spoilers right now. No one dies in the end.
That is really fascinating. I was about to say, that's so funny. We were both thinking about the same thing. I wanted to talk about the end, like script-wise.
Yeah.
I think they ended it and concluded it in a way that felt very satisfying to me.
Yeah.
And I think I sometimes it feels cheesy when no one dies, and you're like, come on. But it felt really good this
cheating.
time. Yeah.
Like so much of the time, like exactly like you're saying, it seems like, well, Iron Man can't die because it's the Iron Man movie. Or, this guy can't die because it's like he's got plot armor.
Yeah.
I went into this movie believing fully that any of these people's contracts could be up.
Yeah.
That any of them, like they're all bona fide stars.
Yeah.
Especially Zoe Saldana and Dave Bautista. He's talked publicly that he's probably done after this. He said that he might or not come back. Probably won't come back.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, is Drax going to die? Yeah. They really set the trailers up to look like Rocket's going to die.
Bradley Cooper too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Vin Diesel.
He
hates this crap.
He hates it. He probably
So
recorded
much work.
all his lines in
So much
2014 and hasn't been back since.
No way. They snuck in another one. Speaking of spoiler, he doesn't say I am Groot.
He says I love you guys.
He says I love you
and
guys.
it did do anything for me.
One person in the row behind me went, oh.
Yeah. It's just, I had the same experience like someone else. I think it was like one of the kids in the room. Yeah. But it was like, that was so bizarre to me because we've built these rules and we broke it with We Are Groot. Mm-hmm. And that was really like, that gets me because that still to me is within his rules.
Yeah.
But him saying, I love you guys is really strange to me.
Yeah.
Because it's like, does he know how to talk normally?
No, yeah, it breaks more. Yeah, right. It's breaking that too
like,
much. Yeah.
Does he speak common?
Right.
What is... Or
also,
is it common? Is it galactic basic?
Also,
like Star Wars?
Also, how does it work with the whole time Gamora like can't understand it, and then the end of the movie? I guess that like it's revealing how like over time everybody learns. I guess
I think she learned it. We shouldn't think too much about the science of how people understand Groot.
But damn it, that's what we do, Marshall.
I'm not concerned about it. Is I'm not concerned about how people understand Groot as much as I am about the fact that maybe he can speak English.
Oh yeah,
I don't know because everyone's got like translators built into their heads or something.
She's got her little boobies.
Well, she talks about it at one point. Like she can't understand their language. It's
yeah,
not in
but
her.
But Drax does.
Yes, which is delightful.
Yeah. Anywho,
but no one dies, and it doesn't feel cheap.
Yeah.
Like I was saying, like you can go into these movies thinking there's a lot of plot armor and stuff, but they set up this movie that someone was going to die, and that it was going to end badly for someone, and it was going to be emotional, and all these people could be leaving. They keep talking about this as the end of a trilogy, and that doesn't happen. But it doesn't feel cheap.
But I think so. It feels like it handled all of that because it's bittersweet. It's like the end of Toy Story 3. No one dies, but we're sad about it. It's all bittersweet. It's like the end of this trilogy. Well, it's not freaking the end of the trilogy. Anyway, so where it's bittersweet, the Guardians are splitting up. We can be sad about that. Yeah. This period of time has ended. But it also feels good in resolution because each character lands at the spot that they need to land at.
Everyone had a full character arc.
Yes, it lands all of them. Okay, we'll start with Peter.
Yep.
He goes back to Earth, finds his grandpa.
Yeah, which is great.
And doesn't end up with Gamora. he's done running from his past.
Yeah.
He's like gonna go to the therapist now. You know, it's like kind of the thing. Like he's like, all right, I'm done. Like I'm gonna take some me time.
Yeah.
Which is like his landing spot.
Yeah.
Of I need to deal with my past before I can be present to other people. Freaking awesome. How do the other ones land?
I mean, the whole movie is basically about facing your trauma.
Yeah.
Whether that is Rocket and the High Evolutionary and the death of his friends, like the horrific death of his friends, like so sad. Or Peter.
He freaking meets them at the, speaking of which, sorry, in the heaven scene.
Yeah.
That was really powerful for some reason. Yeah, that was crazy.
Well, because when she tells him, like, this story has been yours, I'm getting choked up thinking about it.
Yeah.
This story has been yours the whole time. You just didn't know it yet.
Yeah.
If you look back at these movies, it really, like, it does play that way in a lot of ways. Like, it can be the story about his trauma and him going back and facing that. It could be about Peter and his trauma of his mother dying and his father figure dying and his girlfriend dying, like all the people that we were close to, and then never processing any of that. Yeah. Facing that trauma. The same thing
Drax and his
daughter.
His daughter, right. Now he's back and he's focusing on the kids. Right?
Nebula a little bit too. She lost her sister.
Yeah.
And is still trying to deal with that, and the way that she deals with that is by being a jerk.
Yeah.
And being rude to everyone around her. The only person in here that really has any kind of like base to them is Mantis. But then Mantis's whole thing is that she doesn't have a past, and she doesn't know who she is, and she's never had an opportunity to figure that out. And that's where she lands, is that it's time for her to figure that out. Peter, kind of the same thing, but it's him, I'm going to deal with my issues.
Yeah.
I always want to say Palm. I can't remember Mantis. Mantis is, I'm going to figure myself out.
Figure out, like, for myself, not for other people.
Yeah.
For myself.
Yeah.
Like, for years I did it for these people.
Yeah.
Now I did it for the Guardians. Now I need to do it for me. That was, like, her thing. Yeah.
And Rocket is, I know who I am.
Yeah.
I figured out who I am.
I'm a raccoon.
I know what my purpose is.
Oh, my gosh.
I'm Rocket Raccoon.
Yeah.
That could be so cheesy,
Yeah.
but it was so nice.
Yeah.
I really liked that.
I think this is a really good trilogy. I think the three movies together redeem a lot of negative things in Marvel movies for me. Like being able to view these three. It's maybe not helpful to rank them, but I think the first one's the best one. This is the second best one. The second one is maybe last for me. But
I have an affinity for the ends of things. Like Infinity War is pretty objectively better than Endgame, but I really, really love Endgame.
Yeah.
I love seeing how characters end up. The same thing, Return of the King is probably my favorite Lord of the Rings movie. Last Crusade, I have a huge soft spot for. Return of the Jedi, I think is super, like, so this might be my favorite of these movies.
Yeah.
And I think that for me, it's because it leans more into the serious, and I think that it's appropriate for the story they're trying to tell, but also just that it is the conclusion. That was one of the issues that Bill had with it in the chat, is that it didn't make him laugh as much. And like, I can understand that, but I think it's also not what it was intending to do. Like, this is the grown-up brother of these other two movies, and it's still funny. It's still got funny stuff. There's not outright jokes as much.
Yeah,
but there's funny things.
Yeah, there's that's great. Yeah. Did you feel like? Oh, so to conclude that, I think the way they ended the story, I think it's a really good cap to the trilogy. I liked it a lot. So, did you feel like it dragged too long or not?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Was it? It was 2.5 hours.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen that feedback quite a bit on it. Is it 2.5?
It was long.
Yeah, was that it?
2 hours and 30 minutes.
Yeah,
it didn't feel long to me. I think that it flowed really well. I don't know that I would cut any of it. I think it took a little bit to get going.
And I missed that part.
You did miss that part. Yeah. I think it still worked for me though. Yeah. I was still very happy with it. I think this is probably the best movie of phase whatever this is.
4?
5?
5?
4, 5?
I think 4. But it might be making that.
It might be the beginning of phase 5.
That could be.
I can't remember. I thought, I don't know. I guess we'll have to do some math. I got to go back and do my ranking now of all the new ones. Well, I haven't seen the second half of Ant-Man.
Oh.
It's on Disney now. I guess I'll watch it.
Cool. The new Ant-Man.
Yeah.
Quantumania.
Quantumania.
Great.
Quantum Man. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Marshall. I would love to join you in that. I just I'm going to prioritize other interesting things instead of that.
Like what? You don't have anything going on in your life right now?
Nope, not at all. Not the birth of my child.
What?
What?
Okay.
Did I tell you my brother's an IMDb page now? Did I talk about that in the last one? That's
Yeah,
funny.
yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
I think that was on the show.
Oh, cool.
Idiot.
I'm fool.
It's okay. I love you.
Thank you.
You're a good guy, and I appreciate you.
I love you too.
Glad to have you as a
your
friend.
Body.
Oh man.
So
I lost a lot of weight.
You did? Congrats. Have you been on that
178 right now.
Whoa, that's like
About 20 pounds down.
wow, that's crazy.
Or 20. It's 30 almost.
Are you on that medicine that everyone's taking nowadays? What the frick is that? What's the trendy thing right now that it's like diabetes medication?
I have no
everyone's taking
idea.
it
I saw
because they
something
want
about
to
that though.
lose weight. What's it called?
My doctor wouldn't give it to me.
That's crazy.
But yeah, I think. Do you have anything else to say?
No.
Oh,
I think
one thing that I do want to say.
yeah. Okay.
I love how they handled Gamora. I think they really easily could have been like, there's magic and she does have all of her memories from the
Yeah.
other Gamora, but they didn't do that. And they
Yeah.
committed to this being definitively a different version.
Yes.
They didn't get together.
Yes.
And it doesn't
that.
like it doesn't take away from the sacrifice of Prime Gamora.
Yeah.
Like that character is dead.
yeah.
And I hope that they never come together as a relationship.
Right.
Because this character definitively went on a different journey. That character, Prime
Yeah.
Gamora, joined the Guardians and was softened through that. And you see the beginnings of that in this movie,
Yeah.
but I think that she very much, this otherworld Gamora, we'll say 2014 Gamora, that she still is not into, like, she's thinking this is not going to happen, but I respect you and I see why the other person,
Right.
why that other woman might have been interested in you, but it's not me.
Right. Or
That's the way that
final
feels to me.
line they speak to each other.
Yes, I bet we were fun.
I bet we used to be fun.
Yeah.
I bet we were fun together. He's like, yeah, we were.
Mhm.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Which again fits into that. The conclusion is so bittersweet. Oh, like yeah, of course the world is different now. Of course we all have to do the things. We can't be together.
Yeah.
Which is so bittersweet. But you're right. I think it. You're right. It doesn't throw out everything that the viewer experienced either.
Yeah.
It doesn't. We were talking on the last podcast about Mando and how all of a sudden Grogu's back. And you're like, oh my gosh, what the heck? Last season, I was feeling really sad about that. And I was wondering how they were going to resolve it. And now, like, boom, snap.
Now it means nothing.
Back. Yeah, now it means nothing. So I feel like that feels to me kind of like this situation.
Yeah.
Where I was really sad when Gamora died. And it would have been so unjust to the viewer if you would have just, boom, we're back to where we were.
Yes.
So, yeah, that's great.
And, like, this movie continually felt like it had stakes. It continually, like...
Yeah, but not too big of stakes.
It felt very real.
Yeah.
And I really loved that. And the thing... We'll end this in just a moment. We're right at 45, which is great.
Sweet.
The thing that I walked out of this movie thinking, like, legitimately, this was, like, all that was on my mind is I cannot wait for 2025 to see James Gunn's Superman movie.
Really? Oh,
because... that I have never been more hopeful for an emotionally grounded, hopeful, like a Superman, like Peter Quill is a happy-go-lucky character who's gone through some stuff.
Yeah.
And that is how I would describe Superman in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And this is a character that I think that he will do incredible work with, and I cannot wait to see. He's written the script. They're casting right now.
If you go
and they
back
start
and
shooting
watch,
in January.
If you go back and watch Superman 1 and 2, that's totally Superman. It was so similar to this movie. That is interesting that you say that.
Yeah.
The vibe is so similar. There's a couple of funny moments. There's like some silly moments, but like some like really grounded in emotion. Man, that's
he did
crazy.
a great video with, I think, GQ, where he talked about his top superhero movies of all time. And Superman 78 was in there.
Whoa.
And he talks about why and everything. And I think it was like that, Deadpool. Oh, gosh. There was one that people forget is a superhero movie. I can't remember what it was.
One of the M. Night Shyamalan movies?
No. Like, it was comic book movie was the prompt. So I can't remember what it... A History of Violence, the David Cronenberg movie starring Viggo Mortensen. Really good.
Okay.
Then the number one was Into the Spider-Verse, which is the most based take of all time.
Wow, nice.
I think that is absolutely the objective truth of the best comic book movie.
Yeah.
But watching that video, there were a lot of things that he said in that video that gave me, and I might put a couple clips in here and I might not, but there were a lot of things that he said in that video that gave me so much confidence for the way that he would handle the DCU and the future of these characters. And I don't remember what they were off the top of my head, but the way he talked about these characters and filmmaking was so compelling and so lined up with the way that I feel about them. It gave me so much confidence. So I really, I don't want to get my hopes too far up, but I walked out of this movie and thought, I can't wait for 2025.
Sweet. That's great.
Yeah.
I hope you're not disappointed.
I really hope so too. They start shooting in January. They're casting right now, so who knows? We could get casting news. Who's playing Superman any day?
Yeah. Wow.
I don't know who I'd possibly choose.
You know the kind of thing that would be great to keep up to date on the news like that, so that you guys don't have to scrounge through weird websites like Marshall does?
Scrub crap?
You just got to get on our newsletter, which will exist maybe sometime soon.
Yeah.
And then when that happens, Marshall will be like, oh my god, here's my blog post for the day.
This is what I think of a movie that I just watched. I just watched Beef on Netflix.
Follow us on Letterboxd.
Follow us on David Letterman.
Beard or no beard.
It's my favorite Howie Mandel game show.
No beard, Howie!
The bank is giving you an offer. I've never watched that show.
What?
Thank you everyone for listening.
In elementary school, I was super into that because there was a bunch of hot chicks with briefcases.
You're 100 years old.
Oh my god.
Thank you everyone for listening to the episode. This has been the podcast. I hope you liked the show, and I hope you like the movie.
Do we do yes or no on these ones?
I was about to ask you.
Oh.
Yes
fuck.
or no?
I'm sorry. Oh, shoot. I dropped one. I get one.
PG-13.
I get one.
PG-13.
I get one. Okay. Yes.
You say yes?
Yes.
I say yes.
Wow.
That
That was a different yes than mine.
I give it. I mean, if we're talking like IMDb, 8 out of 10.
Whoa. Good.
Yeah.
Nice. That's good.
Thanks everyone for listening to the show. If you want to check us out on the internet, you can check out the show all over the place on all the podcatchers. If you're listening to it now, you probably know that. But
You can't watch us on this episode. Never mind.
no, you can't. There's but we do have video on the full-size lounges, so check those out. If you want to catch up with what's happening week to week, you can check out the Discord, the Instagram, the Great Scub-Doo, the YouTube channel we never touch, the TikTok. We're on TikTok as well.
Unless you're in Montana, in which case you cannot enjoy that.
Really?
TikTok is banned in Montana.
That's amazing.
Yeah, anyway.
I kind of love that. Sorry, Montana.
Get a VPN. You can do whatever you want.
Get a VPN and you can do whatever you want. That's the rules. That's the government. That's the law. Check us out on all those places. They're in the description below. And thank you all for listening. Next week, don't know what we're going to do, Ben.
Oh, God. We didn't get that far.
Yeah. Before you leave today,
okay,
we should schedule out
yeah,
the topics of the next episode.
Summer is summertime, baby. Summer break. Let's do a summer movie.
Last time we said it was summertime. We'll have so much time. We didn't record the entire summer.
That's true, but I traveled internationally that summer, so
that also caused issues.
So this.
How dare you try to help people?
I'm trying to help a baby this summer.
Oh my God. You out, baby.
We have a Google Calendar now.
We do have.
We can do whatever we want. We can walk around.
Ben's walking around.
We can.
Thanks for listening. Ben needs his
Adderall.
Whatever
we want.
I've been Marshall.
I've been Ben.